Join us as we celebrate 70 incredible years of Her Majesty the Queen. A one-off live spectacular with show-stopping performances from horse troops, dance groups, and music from around the world. Celebrate our Queen of many generations. The Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebration, Sunday the 15th of May at 8 on ITV and ITV Hub.
Now with the latest news in Northern Ireland, it's UTV Live with Paul Clark and Sarah Clark.
It's results day, and these are the stories making the headlines.
All eyes on Sinn Féin as they are on course to become the biggest party and take the First Minister's post.
DUP leader Jeffrey Donaldson wins his seat, but insists he won't form a government until the protocol is resolved.
Alliance celebrates as it predicts a surge, but are they on course to become the third largest party here?
And it's a bad day at the office for the SDLP and the Ulster Unionists as they fight to retain seats.
We'll be going live to our reporters at the three count centres in Belfast, Jordanstown and Magherafelt to find out who the winners and the losers are. Well, the votes are in. The counting is well underway in what could turn out to be one of the most historic elections Northern Ireland has seen in many years. Well, let's take a look at the turnout. It's down 1%, with 63.52% of the electorate coming out to vote this time. That's down almost 1% compared to the last Assembly election, when it was 64%.
And this is the current state of the parties. The DUP have 2 seats, Sinn Féin have taken 15 seats, the Ulster Unionist Party have 2, the SDLP have 1 and Alliance have 2. Others have 1.
So just what will the result mean for the future of government here? We'll be speaking to the DUP's Sir Jeffrey Donaldson and Sinn Féin's Michelle O'Neill. And our political editor Tracy McGee is with us in the studio, bringing her expert analysis.
The hashtag UTVVote22 is the easiest way for you at home to keep up with all the latest election coverage.
Well, it's been a busy day in count centres across Northern Ireland, with results coming thick and fast throughout the afternoon. Sinn Féin is holding firm, the DUP is under pressure, and could Alliance double their seats?
The Ulster Unionists have defended fielding so many candidates, and the SDLP admit the prospect of a nationalist First Minister saw their voters go to Sinn Féin. Jordan Motes has been following the drama as it unfolded.
Topping the poll and making history. This was a day of celebration for Michelle O'Neill. Sinn Féin is on track to become the largest party in the Assembly. The title of First Minister awaits, marking a seismic change at Stormont.
I've said the whole way through this election, this is about the future. It can be an historic election. Votes will have to be counted in order to establish that. But I also said the whole way through this campaign that I will turn up on day one, that I lead our team into Stormont, that I will work in partnership with others to try to deal with the issues that are important to people, the cost of living crisis, trying to put money into their pockets, fixing our health service. That's what today is about. That's what we're going to turn up to do on Monday morning, and I will work with others to do that.
Sir Jeffrey Donaldson was safe in Lagan Valley, elected at the first count. He may have been pleased with his personal performance, but the same can't be said overall for the DUP. The party's vote has been squeezed and losses are expected. With the TUV getting a significant bump in first preference votes, the Northern Ireland protocol is clearly on the minds of voters. Sir Jeffrey Donaldson is sticking to his guns.
Until the protocol issues are addressed, until the Irish Sea border is removed, we will not be entering the executive. Our ministers will remain in place, in post, as they have done over the last few months, to ensure that key decisions in departments are being taken.
Outside of the big two, the story of this election really is the surge of Alliance. Kelly Armstrong was the first of all of the candidates to be elected. A small gain would make this their best ever election. However, they're expected to exceed expectations. 2 MLAs are even expected in areas where just a few years ago, one was regarded as peak.
Look, it looks very positive, but it's very, very early in the day. I mean, you know, transfers are everything in this election, and it will just depend how things fall. There are so many seats out there that are either ours or very close to, so we just need to wait and see what happens.
There was much talk of the Beattie bounce, but it's more a case of the Doug deflation. This will not be regarded as a good election for the Ulster Unionists. Roy Beggs has already lost his seat, while former leader Mike Nesbitt is hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Questions are being asked about vote management and the number of candidates on the ballot paper.
This election has got a long, long way to go yet, and we'll continue to fight this election until the last vote has been counted, the last transfer has been given, and then we'll see the lay of the land. But the Ulster Unionist Party do not give up. We keep going, we keep fighting, and at the end of the day, we will see what the end result is, and then we will decide where we go from there. But confident, positive unionism is the only way that we are going to protect Northern Ireland's place in the United Kingdom.
Changes to the political landscape have also impacted the SDLP. Stalwarts under pressure, Nicola Mallon fighting for her political career. Losses are predicted in a number of areas.
Sinn Féin have done enormously well with the nationalist vote. I think in the last days of this campaign, the issue of around the First Minister really came home to people. People just didn't like being told by Jeffrey Donaldson that a nationalist couldn't hold the First Minister's post. That galvanised people to go out and vote for Sinn Féin, and I think frankly we're being squeezed as a result.
It's also worth noting the Greens are under siege with a political wipeout on the cards. There's a lot of counting still to be done, but already we know the next assembly is looking very different to the last one. Jordan Motes, UTV Live.
Well, now we can hear the very latest from our reporters live at the count centres across the country. And first up, we head to Ulster University in Jordanstown, where Lagan Valley is being counted along with North Down. Our reporter Paul Riley is there for us.
Yes, well, as you saw there in Jordan Mote's report, jubilant scenes as Jeffrey Donaldson topped the poll in Lagan Valley. He was first across the line. He was followed about an hour or so ago by Robbie Butler from the Ulster Unionist Party. A good day for him, perhaps not a great day for the party. We are expecting those surplus votes from Sir Jeffrey Donaldson to get the former First Minister Paul Givan across the line, and then he'll very likely be followed by Saoirse Eastwood. The question is, where does that fifth seat in Lagan Valley go to? The Alliance Party think they're in contention, but don't forget about Pat Catney, who just slipped in 2017. Turning to North Down, well, two big stories coming out of North Down. The former DUP MLA, Alex Easton, romping home well over quota. He says he's been elected an independent, he will stay an independent. It looks like his surplus votes could get the DUP's Stephen Dunn across the line. Alliance Party been saying all day they're very optimistic of getting 2 seats in North Down. That would be a big day for them. The Ulster Unionist Party still feel they're in contention with Alan Chambers, so the casualty could be the Green Party's Rachel Woods.
Paul Riley, thank you very much.
And Gareth Wilkinson is covering the constituencies of Mid Ulster, Newry and Armagh and Upper Bann. Gareth, what's the latest there?
Well, Sarah, the day of celebration for Sinn Féin really began here in Macrofelt. That's because Michelle O'Neill easily topped the poll and smashed right through the quota in her own constituency of Mid Ulster, bringing her running mates Linda Dillon and Emma Sheeran over the line in the last half an hour. The DUP's Keith Buchanan looks odds on to hold on to his seat there, and the SDLP's Patsy McGlowan most likely will be returned to Stormont again in Upper Bann, but it's all to play for. And of course, it's the constituency where Doug Beattie is contesting his first election as UUP leader. And I have to say, we've just had a count here in the last few minutes, and Doug Beattie might be somewhat on shaky ground. That's because Owen Tennyson of Alliance, he's just 23 years of age, and he has polled more than Doug Beattie. Sinn Féin's John O'Dowd and also DUP's Jonathan Buckley look like they'll keep their seats. It's Dolores Kelly who looks like she is the most vulnerable in the Upper Bann constituency. Certainly one to watch as the counts progress further on into the night. In Newry and Armagh, well, Sinn Féin will hold on to their 3 seats. Conor Murphy and Cathal Boylan both elected over the quota. There's a bit of a fight within unionism there. William Irwin of the DUP has polled stronger than the TUV. That fight's not over, and it looks like that Justin McNulty of the SDLP will depend on transfers if he's to get over the line.
Thank you.
Well, we're now going to cross back to Belfast, where we can join the Sinn Féin President, Mary Lou McDonald. Actually, we're just waiting for Mary Lou McDonald to talk to us. She's not ready just yet. Tracy, can I just draw you on this? It's been a great day for the party. I wonder what Mary Lou McDonald is going to be saying.
Well, I think she'll say that they ran a very positive campaign and the electorate has come up to the challenge. It has been an excellent campaign for them. They are not in fights for seats. They are sailing across the line. This election seems to be about two stories. Who's going to become First Minister? It looks nailed on at this moment in time that it's going to be Sinn Féin, barring a real upset at this point, and the rise of the middle ground, the Alliance Party making their surge.
Sinn Féin do know how to manage their vote, and they've managed it extremely well. It looks like they're going to hold seats where the SDLP would have liked to have thought they could have won.
Yes, Fermanagh South Tyrone would be one that would come to mind. I think the difficulty for the SDLP is that they are now not only not making any gains, they are fighting to hold on to some big names. The fact that Nicola Mallon is in a fight for her seat, a minister. We were thinking that it would be the second Sinn Féin candidate, Carol McCullen, that would be in difficulty. In fact, both she and Jerry Kelly got over the line in the first vote.
And then there is that middle ground occupied by Alliance.
Yes, that's right. Very clearly, they are doing very well indeed. It could be that they could get anywhere between 14 and 18 seats, an absolutely stunning result for them. And in East Belfast, they have actually overtaken the DUP in first preference votes. OK, we must now go to Mary Lou McDonald, the President of Sinn Féin, who's waiting to talk to us now live in the Count Centre in Belfast. Thank you very much for joining us. Time is short. Can I ask you briefly, how significant is this vote for Sinn Féin?
Well, I think it's very significant. It's been a very remarkable campaign. It's been, from our perspective, a very positive campaign. Of course, it's been about issues in the here and now, as you know, Paul. I mean, a lot of talk about the cost of living crisis, the imperative and urgency of getting money into people's pockets, the imperative to form an executive, to work in partnership to fix our health services.
I'd like to draw you on that. I'd like to draw you on that, if I may. The necessity to get an executive up and running. What if the DUP don't go into that executive?
Well, look, we're here after an election. The votes are being counted. The people are having their say, and it's absolutely essential that everybody respects that outcome, respects the will of the people. And I don't think there is anybody who would argue that there is anything other than an appetite for delivery at a time, as I say, when people are increasingly under hardship. So really, for me and for us, this is a no-brainer. There isn't an alternative other than power sharing. There is no alternative, Paul, other than working together. And the DUP, I think, would be very, very wise to heed that message, to roll up their sleeves along with the rest of us, and to get back, and not least to make sure that we have a three-year budget, and that £330 million that's there unspent, that we actually get that quickly into people's pockets.
One final question for you. Why has nationalism, the nationalist electorate, gone for Sinn Féin this time?
Well, I think, as I say, our message was very clear, was very positive. There is an unmistakable appetite for progress right across society. And certainly people that I was talking to were very animated and excited by the prospect of a First Minister for all, a progressive person leading the executive and demonstrating the capacity to work in partnership, to deliver in the here and now, but crucially to build our future together.
Thank you very much indeed, Mary Lou McDonald, for talking to us live this evening on the programme. Thank you.
We can now cross live straight away to Jordanstown, where we can join the DUP leader, Jeffrey Donaldson. First, congratulations on topping the poll in Lagan Valley, Sir Jeffrey Donaldson. Sinn Féin's figures are very strong. Did your tactics backfire and stimulate the nationalist community?
Well, obviously we're still waiting for some of the results to come in, but it does look like Sinn Féin have polled well. Our vote has held up well. For example, here in Lagan Valley, we've hold some 18,000 first preference votes and will hold our 2 seats comfortably. We're obviously waiting on some results. It could well run late this evening and even into tomorrow before we get the final outcome.
The protocol, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, which is preventing you entering an executive, but it looks to the outside world and to the nationalist community, you just won't share power with them. Is that the case?
Well, Stormont operates on the basis of a cross-community consent, and unionists do not support the protocol. The protocol is harming our political institutions. It's undermining the economy. It is harming our economy. It's driving up the cost of living. So we need to deal with the protocol. And my message to the government is the sooner you take decisive action on the protocol, then we can get a stable executive, properly functioning. That's where I want to get to. And the matter is now in the hands of the government. They need to act.
But come Monday, if issues around the protocol are miraculously resolved and Sinn Féin are the main party, will you enter an executive or not?
Well, we will accept the outcome of the election, but I am clear that isn't the only question we must address. I made clear during the election campaign that we need the government to act decisively on the protocol. I'm waiting for them to do that. The matter is now in their hands. We have a clear mandate. We want to see the protocol issues addressed. We want to see the Irish Sea border removed so that we can trade freely within our own country. We will no longer be treated as second-class citizens.
Very quickly, the people of Northern Ireland want delivery. They want issues around the cost of living to be dealt with, and without an executive, that can't happen.
Well, I want to see delivery as well. That means taking action to deal with the protocol because it's driving up the cost of living. It's costing a lot more to bring food and other products from Great Britain to Northern Ireland. Every consumer in Northern Ireland is being hit by these increased prices as a result of the protocol and, of course, other factors as well. We want to address that.
Thank you. We'll leave it there.
Thank you.
The 4 Belfast constituencies are being counted at the Titanic Centre. Our political correspondent Vicky Hawthorne is there. Vicky, what's the latest?
Well, Paul, the 4 constituencies in Belfast are all being counted here. Of course, I guess one of the most significant stories for Sinn Féin in this election is North Belfast. Despite predictions that they might struggle to hold a second seat in that constituency, both Jerry Kelly and Carol Naculan have been elected on the very first count in that constituency. They're obviously delighted. The DUP believe they've done enough to hold 2 seats there with 2 new faces for the Assembly, one being Philip Brett, but potentially a 5th seat battle there, certainly for the SDLP and the Alliance. Nuala McAllister for the Alliance, she came very close last time round, and it looks like she's giving Nicola Mallon a real run for her money from the SDLP. In West Belfast, another success for Sinn Féin. They've got 1 candidate over the line, Danny Baker. The question here is whether they will be able to keep 4 seats that they secured last time round. That is a very unusual situation. And Jerry Carroll as well from People Before Profit wanting to try to secure the 5th seat there. In East Belfast, we have the Alliance leader Naomi Long over the line in the first stage of counting, and the DUP's Joanne Bunting. It's likely to be there, though, a kind of status quo with not much change, with likely 2 Alliance seats, 2 DUP and 1 Ulster Unionist. In South Belfast, though, there could be something interesting brewing there. Sinn Féin have Deirdre Hargey already. She secured her seat. Edwin Putz, of course, this is a parachuted in constituency for him. He's expecting to retain a seat there. But there could be a battle again at the bottom, at the last stages of this, between Alliance and the Greens. And that would maybe become at the expense of the Green Party in South Belfast.
Hawthorne, thank you very much.
Now we can cross to find out what's happening at the East, South and North Antrim counts, and we're joined by Eden Wilson. Eden.
Yes, kicking off with North Antrim, and 2 candidates are across the line. The UP's Robin Swan and Sinn Féin's Philip McGuigan. Robin Swan first to get elected there, a moment he really revelled in and said this is a big win not just for him but for the party. Across the way in East Antrim, not so much a cheery picture there. Long-standing MLA Roy Beggs, of course, in that chair for 24 years, has lost his seat. He was eliminated in the 2nd count, and I'm just hearing a few moments ago John Stewart, his running mate, has just been elected, the first MLA elected in East Antrim. So a real bittersweet moment there for the Ulster Unionists. And looking at South Antrim too, Declan Kearney has topped the poll following his success in 2017.
Thanks, Eden. And we'll be live once again with the latest from the count centres and more analysis after this short break. Do join us then.